On May 8, 1587, approximately 120 settlers left England and sailed to Roanoke Island, off the coast of what is now North Carolina, arriving sometime in July 1587. The governor of the new 1587 Roanoke settlement was John White, an explorer and artist. There were a few small attacks from local Native Americans within the first month, and the colonists reportedly desperately wanted John White to return to England and retrieve more supplies for them, such as food, tools, and more people. So on August 25th, 1587, just a month after arriving, White sailed back to England to gather supplies, leaving behind 115 colonists, 87 men, 17 women, and 11 children, including his own daughter, Eleanor White Dare, who had just given birth to a daughter, and White's granddaughter, Virginia Dare, the first baby born in North America to English parents. Unfortunately, White's timing was poor. England was on the verge of going to war with Spain, which had a particularly strong armada, and he was unable to return to Roanoke for some time. It was not until August of 1590, 3 years later, that White would finally make his way back to the island. To his bewilderment, when White arrived, he found that the entire colony had vanished without a trace. The only clue left behind was the word Croatoan, carved into a fence post, and crow, carved into a tree. White then reportedly made 2 attempts to sail south about 50 miles to the nearby Croatoan island, now known as Hatteras Island, to search for the colonists. However, according to White, both trips were foiled by storms, and he was forced to turn back each time. Because the boat White was using was privately owned, he was unable to try looking for a third time. He returned to Europe and moved to Ireland, where he passed away in 1593, never knowing what became of his family. To this day, nobody knows for certain the fate of the lost colony of Roanoke. Even more chilling, despite 115 people disappearing, no bodies or signs of a mass graves have ever been found. Historians have theorized on the lost colony in the hundreds of years that have passed, and plenty of people online have pointed to supernatural causes. None have been able to provide conclusive evidence, and all they left are some theories. Natives theory. The theory of integration with local Native American tribes is one of the most plausible explanations for the disappearance of the Roanoke colony. This theory suggests that the English colonists integrated with the local Native American tribes, particularly the Croatoans. The story of the lost colony begins in 1584, when Sir Walter Raleigh received a charter from Queen Elizabeth I to explore and colonise the New World. 2 expeditions were sent to the area, the first in 1584 and the second in 1585, both led by Sir Richard Grenville. These expeditions established friendly relations with the local Native American tribes and laid the groundwork for a permanent English settlement. In 1587, Raleigh sent another group of colonists to Roanoke Island, this time led by John White. White's group included men, women, and children, and they had plans to establish a self-sustaining colony on the island. However, when White returned to Roanoke in 1590, nearly 3 years after they landed, he found the colony abandoned. The only clues remaining were the letters CRO carved into a tree and the word Croatoan carved into a wooden post. Croatoan was the name of a neighbouring island and the name of a Native American tribe residing there. This led to the theory that the settlers moved to Croatoan Island and joined with the Native Americans living there. The settlers had good relations with them, so it's plausible that the settlers were absorbed into the tribe. However, it's important to note that while this theory is widely accepted, it is still a theory. The fate of the Roanoke colony remains one of America's oldest unsolved mysteries. Despite numerous investigations and extensive research, no concrete evidence has been found to definitively explain what happened to the settlers of Roanoke. The Spanish theory. The theory that the Roanoke colony was destroyed by a Spanish attack presents a dramatic and harrowing possibility rooted in the geopolitical tensions of the late 16th century. During this period, Spain and England were fierce rivals vying for dominance in the New World. Spain had established a stronghold in Florida and maintained a vigilant presence along the southeastern coast of North America. In this hypothetical scenario, Spanish forces, aware of the English encroachment represented by the Roanoke settlement, could have mounted a covert reconnaissance mission or an outright assault to eliminate the threat and reinforce their territorial claims. The Spanish, driven by a desire to prevent English colonization efforts, might have launched a surprise attack, swiftly overwhelming the ill-prepared and isolated English settlers. Survivors would likely have been captured or killed, leaving few traces of their fate. The Spanish would have meticulously eradicated any signs of their intervention to cloak their involvement in mystery, fostering an enduring enigma. This theory, while still speculative, fits within the broader context of Spain's strategic operations against other European powers, and adds a layer of political intrigue and international espionage to the tragic saga of the lost colony. To suggest this theory here is some evidence and other explanations. The evidence supporting the Spanish attack theory of the Roanoke colony's disappearance is largely circumstantial and based on historical context. Here are some key points. Awareness of the English presence. It's certain that the Spanish in the West Indies were aware of the English colonists' presence. One Roanoke settler named Darby Gland left the 1587 expedition once it set ashore in Puerto Rico to take on supplies. He later reported that he told Spanish officials the location of the Roanoke settlement. Pottery fragments. Archaeologists in North Carolina have uncovered pieces of pottery that they argue point to the fate of some of the former residents of the famed Roanoke colony. These fragments include English, German, French, and Spanish vessels. The variety of artifacts recovered provide compelling evidence that the site was inhabited by several settlers from Sir Walter Raleigh's vanished 1587 colony. Historical context. Spanish forces could have attacked and destroyed the colony, seeing it as a threat to their own territorial ambitions. But like the hostile Native American theory, there is scant evidence to support this scenario. Croatoan, or Hatteras, theory. The Croatoan, or Hatteras theory, is a fascinating tale that suggests the Roanoke colonists integrated with the local Native American tribe, known as the Croatoan. The story begins in 1587, when Governor John White left the Roanoke colony to return to England for supplies. He left behind his family and other settlers with plans to return. However, upon his return in 1590, he found the colony abandoned. The only clue to the settlers' fate was the word Croatoan, carved into a post. Croatoan was the name of an island south of Roanoke, now known as Hatteras Island, which was home to a Native American tribe of the same name. This led to the theory that the settlers moved to Croatoan Island and integrated with the Native Americans living there. Archaeologists have found new clues supporting this theory. They discovered colonial-era pottery and a 10-carat gold signet ring engraved with a lion or horse, believed to date to the 16th century. These artifacts suggest that at least some of the Roanoke colonists might have survived and assimilated into the Native American community. In 2012, researchers examining a map at the British Museum in London found hidden outlines of two forts, one 50 miles west of Roanoke, the same distance away that the colonists had told White they planned to move. This led to further excavations and the discovery of more artifacts of European and Native American origin. Despite these findings, the Croatoan theory, like all theories regarding the Roanoke colony's disappearance, remains unproven. The fate of the Roanoke colony continues to be one of America's oldest unsolved mysteries. So I think you're now wondering, how did the settlers interact with the Croatoan tribe? According to the Croatoan theory, the interactions between the Roanoke colonists and the local Croatoan, or Hatteras tribe, were likely characterized by a pragmatic and cooperative relationship, driven by the settlers' need for survival and the tribe's willingness to offer assistance. Here's a possible scenario of how the interactions may have unfolded. As the Roanoke colony struggled with dwindling resources and growing isolation, the colonists likely recognized the need to establish contact and forge ties with the neighboring Croatoan tribe. The two groups may have initially approached each other with caution and uncertainty, given the cultural differences and the colonial tensions in the region. However, faced with the harsh realities of life in the New World, the Roanoke settlers may have set aside any preconceptions and actively sought to learn from the Croatoan people. They would have recognized the tribe's deep knowledge of the land, its resources, and the skills necessary for thriving in the coastal environment. Through a process of mutual exchange and cultural integration, the colonists and the Croatoan people may have developed a symbiotic relationship. The settlers could have learned hunting, fishing, and agricultural techniques from the tribe, while the Croatoan people may have been intrigued by the Europeans' tools, technologies, and ways of life. This exchange of knowledge and the formation of interpersonal bonds could have led to intermarriage and the gradual assimilation of the Roanoke colonists into the Croatoan community. The settlers may have adopted the tribe's language, customs, and social structures, eventually becoming indistinguishable from the indigenous population. The carving of the word Croatoan and the letters CRO suggest that the colonists had made plans to relocate and join the Croatoan tribe, perhaps as a last-ditch effort to ensure their survival. This decision, while difficult, may have been a pragmatic and culturally sensitive response to the challenges they faced in the New World. While the details of these interactions remain speculative, the Croatoan theory presents a compelling narrative of cultural exchange, adaptation, and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Ending. And so, the mystery of the lost colony of Roanoke continues to captivate us. Despite numerous investigations and extensive research, the fate of the settlers remains one of America's oldest unsolved mysteries. From theories of integration with local tribes to Spanish attacks, to even more outlandish ideas, each hypothesis adds another layer to this historical enigma. Perhaps the truth lies buried beneath the soil of Roanoke or Hatteras Island, waiting to be discovered. Or perhaps the story of the lost colony is destined to remain an unsolved puzzle, a testament to the unpredictable and often harsh realities of colonial life. But one thing is certain: the story of Roanoke is a reminder of our past, a mirror to our present, and a window to our future. It teaches us about resilience, adaptation, and the enduring human spirit. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the past. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intriguing historical mysteries. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and remember, history is alive and it speaks to us. We just need to listen.